Now, Don, we've discussed a lot about inequality, the current affairs of the culture, some good intentions that lead people to bad solutions. And one of the things, discussing the importance of philosophy, is that people who claim being worried about poverty and inequality is that they say, okay, but philosophy is something, that's first world problems. Like people that already have their wealth pyramid very structured, then they can worry about philosophy. People who are striving with, hunger and getting to the end of the month and paying the bills, those people don't have time for philosophy. So if the problem is the wrong philosophy, it's not going to work because most of the people don't have the time for that. What would you say to people that sustain that argument?
Well, I mean, let's give the argument credit. Like if you're literally facing the bear struggle for survival, then yeah, philosophy is, that's not your concern. But once you're at the stage where you can live and plan a long range life, then you need guidance for how you're going to direct that life. Right. And if you think, and part of what, I think a great way to get out of poverty is to have a moral code that allows you to take actions that will be long range successful. And I mean, certainly that's what Rand's ethics is trying to provide, is a set of principles that are going to actually enable you to flourish, that are going to provide a basic pattern for the kind of life that can make you as successful and happy as possible. But even deeper than that, like if you are a person who's struggling and who's not like in a financially comfortable stage in your life, and particularly if you're in a country where it's very, very hard to succeed. I think in America, if you really work at it, it would be really weird not to at least make a decent living. But you need even more, if that's even the right way to put it, concern with the kind of deep spiritual values that a philosophy is going to help you provide, like a real sense of meaning and purpose, and the kind of worship of human greatness that can actually like sustain a soul, and that is communicated in art and enjoyed through the sublime. Like all of that is part of what philosophy is giving you. And if you are just like going through your life just to earn a paycheck so that you like can pay the rent next month, and you don't have that kind of spiritual sustenance, then that is even more tragic than anything I could imagine. So I would say, once a person is not literally in a race, for day-to-day survival, like you really, really should be thinking about philosophic issues. Everybody should, but you more than anybody, because that can at least give you that core self-esteem and foundational happiness that maybe that you need, even if you can't achieve the kind of wealth you would want to. And then, of course, I think even people who achieve a lot of wealth, I mean, one of the real disasters today is you have a lot of wealthy, miserable people.
Yep.
And so I think that in the end, money is not the issue, wealth is not the issue. It's that everybody needs philosophy because we're in the grips of a philosophy, whether we know it or not. We're making these assumptions about what's good and about how to conduct our minds and conduct our lives. And if we don't self-consciously examine it, we're going to be basically led blind. Like it really is trying to govern yourself through a room filled with obstacles and all the lights are off. And what philosophy does is it turns those lights on and allows you to have this spotlight to govern your way through life. And what could be more valuable than that?
Yeah, I actually believe that argument is one of the most compelling that you can use. Material wealth is not going to bring you those lights on by itself. And Rand also said it, right? Like money cannot be the guide. It's only a means, but it is the individual who has the vision of where to go and how to put that money into place. And what you were saying reminded me a lot of Howard Rourke in The Fountainhead, right? Like he struggles economically and financially in the novel until the end, but he has his moral principles and he sticks to what he believes is correct. And that's what makes him survive, although he's not financially in the best position. And it also reminded me of what Yaron said when he was in Mexico, right? For the first time in the history of humanity, out of 10 people who are alive, 9 do not live with less than $3 a day. There's one that still, yes, it does. But if we look at the rest of the history of humanity, we have never been better than right now regarding material wealth. Now, regarding that sense of life and that morality and that guide that philosophy can give you, you can see, as you said, rich people being miserable and some poor people with the right common sense and philosophy having a better sense of life. So I don't know, I hope that those arguments can be more well spread in between the new generations. And thank you, Don, for this interview. And thank you also for writing Equal is Unfair with Yaron, because I think those are the issues that young people are trying to look and resolve.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And for you guys, stay tuned, because we are continuing exploring objectivism with the scholars of the Ayn Rand Institute.